Hello and welcome to my channel. So today I'm gonna go through all the books that I read in 2024 so far. So I read 19 books and I DNF'd 3 books. So I think I got through a lot of books actually. So I'm quite proud of myself. I think I've been through a lot of genres: fantasy, romantasy, historical fiction, books about time traveling. So I think I'm gonna go through all the books in a random order, and then at the end I'm gonna make a top 3 list and also the 3 worst books that I read. But let's start with going through the books that I DNF'd, that I didn't finish. And the first one is a classic, The Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I read this because of a challenge that I made for myself, but I did not finish it. I usually do not enjoy classics. I think they tend to be a bit more complicated to read, and usually I'm not into that. I just want a straightforward book. And this one, there was a description where I wasn't sure if he was talking about a building or something else. There was something about an egg, and I got really confused. And then I just stopped. So yeah, that was that one. The next book that I DNF'd is How to Lose the Time Warp by Max Gladstone. Okay, I cannot remember, but there was 2 authors to this one. And I also read this because of a challenge, but I only got through the first chapter and it was confusing. It's something about a red and a blue team and they are fighting each other. And I know that they have a correspondence over time. But yeah, I didn't feel it at the time. Maybe I'll pick it up later, but I just didn't feel it. And the last one that I DNF is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by... it's a Japanese author. Anyways, I put the picture on the screen. But yeah, this one, there was too much sexisms in here. I think I only got 7 minutes into the audiobook, and that's when the author made a description of a woman where he says that she was so beautiful and yet she had a brain which is so rare, or something along the lines of that. And I was just like, no, that's not good. So yeah, out with that book. I have heard about the sexism in this book before, but it's been so popular on BookTube, so I wanted to try it. It's about people that go to a cafe and then they can go back in time. I think that's the premise of the book. But yeah, not for me. I don't want to read books like that, so no. But let's move on to the books that I actually have read. I think I read a lot of great books actually. So I've been quite lucky. I haven't been in a reading slump. I'm just enjoying life, you know. The first book that I read this year was actually the last book in the trilogy of Beartown by Fredrik Backman. And this book is about a ice hockey team, or at least it centers around this ice hockey team. But there's a lot of characters in this book, but I didn't mind it in this book. It's done so well, and Fredrik Backman just writes really, really great. Yeah, he is talented, absolutely. And Beartown also made it to my top 5, the other 2 books in 2023. Yeah, so overall a great series. It's a bit more heavy. There is some warning triggers in this book for sure, so be sure to read that. Overall a good start to 2024. And the next book that I read is also by Fredrik Backman, and that's And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer. This is a short book. 1 hour, 30 minutes something was the audiobook. I didn't enjoy this much as Beartown, and I think it's because I tend to not really like shorter books. I don't really get attached to the story that much, but I get why other people could like this book. It's about a man who's getting dementia, and the way that the book is set up is that you get a look into his brain and how it's all like crumbling down. So again, Fredrik Backman writes really beautiful and great. I mean, yeah, he knows what he's doing, but it's a 3-star for me, this book. The next book is also a shorter book. It's The Ice Palace by Tarjei Vesaas. And this audiobook was 3.5 hours. And I didn't like it. I did not like it. Oh, it was really a book where you have to analyze, and it was kind of like building up, but you never quite got a release. Can you say that? Yeah, it's about two girls who become friends one day, and then the other girl the next day becomes missing. I can't really say much more, but I did not enjoy this book. It was meant to be analyzed a lot, and I'm not in the mood for that. But if you're into that, maybe this is a good book. The next book is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. And this book is about two computer developers, a man and a woman. They meet in childhood and they befriend each other over video games, and then they become video games developers. This book has a different take on friendship and love. I kind of like that it wasn't just straightforward with a love story, but I don't want to spoil too much. It's a little bit different that way, and I think it did it quite well. So maybe like almost a 4-star for me. Yeah, this book is also really popular, and I can see why. But yeah, almost a 4-star. The next book is The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. And if you're a Britney Spears fan and have not read this book, then go read it. It was so nostalgic. And she did mention a lot of the music and the music videos that she made and how they came to be. And that was just, oh yeah, that one and that one and that one and that one. That was really great. And also, I got so mad on her behalf. The way that she got treated by the media and by her father and her family in general, by other men in the music industry. Great book. Definitely enjoyed that. The next book is A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher. And this book is about a girl who is a baker and she has some magic abilities. So she can control dough and bread. And other people in this town also have magic abilities, but they are looked down upon. People are a bit scared of them. And then suddenly people with magic abilities are going missing or they're being murdered. And there is a murder in her baking shop. It's a middle grade, and for me it read a little bit too young, I think. But I did give it a 3-star. And yeah, it was okay, but it wasn't the best. But if you're into cozy fantasy, I think this could also be a good pick. I don't know if it's exactly cozy fantasy though, but it has that, of course the good are going to win vibe to it. Then I read Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian MCallister. And this book is about time travel, and it's about this woman who is witnessing her son committing a murder. And then she's trying to figure out why, because she does have a really sweet son. And then suddenly she's going back a day in time, and then another, and then another. I would say like halfway, the book really got interesting and exciting. And this book also inspired me to read a lot of other books about time traveling. So hence the next couple of books. But yeah, I think I'm going to give this book like a 4-star. I did really enjoy it when I got like halfway through it. Yeah, so hang on, and it's a good book. So yeah, the next book is The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. But this book is about a man, Henry, who is a time traveler. And he's kind of like the only one. And then one day, a woman is showing up and she's like, hey, I know you. And I know you a lot. And that's because in his future, he traveled back to her childhood. And then he has come back a lot. So she kind of like grew up with him. Her name is Calia. And it was really exciting, but it is a bit problematic because is he potentially grooming Claire? I don't know how to rate this book because it was really exciting and I wanted to know what was going to happen. But at the same time, it's like, oh, the grooming part, I don't know. Yeah, so this one is quite difficult. HBO also made a TV show about it and that was really great as well. But again, is it problematic? A little bit. Then I read a series by Calia Reid and it's called The Surviving Trace. And this one is about a woman who just suddenly is time traveling back to 1912, I believe. And there she falls in love with this man, Etienne. She's traveling like back and forth in time and it's about how they are going to manage that. It was really great. It is really, really smutty. So if you're not into the smuttiness, don't read this book. For me, it was a bit too much. I can like put it aside, but it's also like, okay, let's move on. But if you're into that, this is a good book, good series for that. But yeah, overall the story was really exciting and I wanted to know what was happening, and I would definitely recommend this book about time traveling. It kind of felt a little bit inspired by Outlander, if you've seen that show or read those books, but it wasn't a total copy of it. But yeah, I could see that maybe she got some inspiration from that. And the next book is Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. And this book is also about time traveling, and it's about a time anomaly. Yeah, anyways, this one is about different people in different times, in the past and also in the future, and they all connected to this anomaly time thing. So it was a bit confusing and it's a bit weirder than the others. I actually did enjoy this. I have heard some negative things about it, but I think I'm gonna give this a 4-star anyway. I liked it. And the last book about time traveling is Kate Atkinson's Life After Life. And this book is also weirder and a bit more confusing, and I would definitely recommend not listening to it as an audiobook, but read it, because the writing of this book is quite special, because you are in this scene, but the main character is having so many thoughts to this time and that time and this time, and it is just so confusing as an audiobook. It's about this girl who keeps dying, and then she is finding another way to not die, but she's not exactly aware that this is what she's doing. It takes place right after the First World War, and then it also centers a lot around the Second World War. So it is heavy as well, because there's so much happening in the war. Just a warning. But yeah, overall really exciting, but I think I'm gonna give it a almost 4-star. It was weird at times, but still exciting. Then the next book is A Court of Silver and Flames, and this is by Sarah J. Maas, and I think this is a really, if not the most popular romantasy book that's out there right now. And this is the 5th book in this series, and this is the last book that has come out. I actually thought this was the last book, but it's not. But that's fine with me. Like book 2 was just the best. 6 stars, if I could give that. But I think I'm gonna give this book a 4-star. It did take a little bit longer to pick up, but like the last part of the book was really exciting. That was really good. It is really smutty as well, and that was maybe a little bit too much. And also the language that she's using here, it's, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember if the other books were that smutty, but this is really smutty as well. But yeah, if you're into that, this is a good book. But yeah, I am so excited to continue this series. The romantasy part of it is just absolutely great. So yeah, book 2, like, the best book. Then I read The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, and I wouldn't say that I hated this book, but it's not the best book. I think I'm gonna give it like a 2.5 star. I didn't really get the romance here, because it was like, oh, we're so mad at each other, we hate each other so much, but come on, it's so obvious that you like each other. It was just a little bit too much, and I don't know if I believed the love story. So yeah, that's why I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. The next book that I read is by Bennett, and it's called The Vanishing Half. This book is really great, and it's about 2 twins, and they grow up in a small town, and it's not the best to be black in this town, and they mix, and then they can go for either being black or white, and then the twins are escaping this town, and then one is pursuing to be a white person, and the other one is continuing to be seen as a black person. Yeah, it was great. It is heavy because it's dealing with a lot of racism and what could happen to you, but overall it was really great. I think I'm gonna give this book a 4-star. The ending of this book is also you know, it's not a sad ending and it's not a happy ending as well, but it has that really realistically ending where people are just, okay, I cannot spoil it, but you know, okay, read it for yourself. The next book is American Panda by Gloria Chao, and I read this book because I had to find a book with a panda in the title, so this one came up when I was searching for it. Yeah, it was okay. I think I'm gonna give it like 3.5 star. It's about a girl and her parents came from Taiwanese and they immigrated to the US and then she was born. But her parents are really, really strict, so they are what you call tiger parents, and she's trying to break free from that. And then it's her process doing this. And yeah, it was good. 3.5 star. Then I read An Ember in the Ashes, and right now I'm in the middle of book 2. It's a quartet, and this is also romantasy, and it's about Leia and Elias. And Leia is from the suppressed people, the enslaved people, and Elias is a mask, and he's kind of like an assassin, and they're set up to be enemies, but they somehow help each other to escape. And yeah, so far so good. It is a YA, young adult, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna continue. It's just gonna be great. So that was all the books that I read. I hope you found some inspiration, and I hope to see you in a future video, and you have a good day. Okay, so I am back because I forgot to tell you about a book, and I also forgot to make a top 3 list of all the books that I read, and also the top 3 worst. So the book that I forgot to tell you about is Evelyn Hugo, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I'm so glad I got to read this book. I was a little bit nervous about it, but it's really good. It's about this actress. And I think she started acting in the 1950s. It's a fiction, though. And it's just about her way up to the top. And it was really great. It had a great commentary on how it is to be a woman in a man's world. And yeah, I really enjoyed that one, and you learn why she had 7 husbands, and it was really great. It was really exciting. Yeah, I really loved that one. So to my top 3, I think that would be A Court of Silver and Flames. A Court of Silver Flames, I think it's called. The 5th book in the Agatha series by Sarah J. Maas. I just love that series so much. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo would also be in my top 3, I think. Bear Town as well by Fredrik Backman. Oh, it's getting difficult, because I also want to put like the Surviving Trace series by Calia Reid up here. Okay, all of them. All of them. The worst book is definitely The Ice Palace and The Hating Game. What else should be here? I don't know, because I wanted to put the 3 books that I DNF'd here, but I haven't read them. So, you know, I don't think I can do that. But yeah, so that's just going to be 2 books. I don't know what else to put down there. Okay, that's going to be it. So now I hope that you have a great day, and I'll see you. Bye.